a woman who is the chair or was the chair of the Board of Education for Ohio, a white female Republican, has been forced to resign because she is in fact not racist. I kid you not. Here's the background to the story. Let's put up her picture. This is from the Ohio Department of Education. She was the president of this board. State Board of Education President Laura Kohler and board member Eric Pockler turned in their resignations Friday. Now, why did they do this? I'm gonna get into it. Both were appointed members to the board, okay? So this is a political board, political appointees, right? The Ohio Senate had enough votes to remove them, Kohler said, and the governor did request her to resign. Very political stuff happening. She's a lifelong Republican, and she does consider herself to be a moderate. Now, why did I say she was forced to resign because she is not racist? Here's why. The resignations came during a battle of words over anti-racism resolution called Resolution 20. This is great, right? Anti-racism resolution, like anti-bullying resolution, anti-violence resolution, anti-gang resolution, good stuff. You're on the Board of Education, you should pass resolutions like this, right? So this Resolution 20, which is anti-racism resolution, passed the Ohio board in July of 2020 in the wake of George Floyd's murder. Board members have since rescinded the resolution. Kohler said was opposing racism and advocating equity for all students. There were 3 appointed members who did vote to rescind the resolution, and they were confirmed by the Senate earlier this week. So let me get this right. These individuals, during the height of the George Floyd murder, when everybody was talking and saying we need to do something, this is wrong, this is evil, this is systemic, this is bigoted, this is murder. So in the middle of that, this board says, you know what? We need a resolution saying we are anti-racist in this state and we are willing to stand up against racism. Great, sounds like a good idea. And then all of a sudden, the political powers that be said, none of that here, you have to rescind it. And she said, why would I rescind something that's anti-racist? Why would I do that? I'm anti-racist. We are a governing school board. We should be anti-racist. Why would we rescind the resolution? Well, they did. She refused. She was forced to resign. Kohler was first confirmed by Governor John Kasich to a 4-year term, 2 years into the term. Kohler was elected president of the board. When that expired in 2021, the current governor appointed Kohler to the board, and her colleagues on the board reelected her to a second term as president. Everything all good. Everything's moving along. Her career is progressing. People trust her, they like her, she's a conservative, she's one of them, right? Out of all of her political accomplishment, what got her fired de facto? Because she dared say she's actually anti-racist. They did not care that she's a Republican. They did not care that she has served on their board with distinction and honor. They did not care about anything else other than the fact that she would not go on record and rescind her saying she's anti-racist. It gets deeper. She says, and I quote, I consider myself to be a Republican, but I consider myself to be truly a moderate Republican, and in my mind, that means that good ideas can come from both sides of the aisle. She thinks the anti-racism issues are commingling with the anti-mask and vaccine movement. You know what this was really about, ladies and gentlemen? It was about an intentional conflating of critical race theory as it relates to this resolution. Remember, critical race theory is not taught in K-12 education, but they want you to fear it. They want you to be afraid of it. People don't really know what it is. It's just bad because somehow to them, it teaches that America is evil and America has to do some fixing. And we don't want that message to our children. We want patriotism. It's interesting. It's fascinating. She has now been forced to resign. Critical race theory is not typically taught in grade school and is pursued as a course of study at the college level. Lawmakers in at least 22 states have proposed limits on how schools can talk about racial issues. There it is. That's the real issue. According to NBC News data collected in June, educators have reported being driven out of their jobs, frustrated and exhausted by the contentious fights. Once again, we've said this on the program before, the entire critical race theory debate was a false pretext to create the context so that they can limit the real history of racism in America. Just by talking about racism, you are not teaching critical race theory. Critical race theory is an advanced theoretical framework. It is meant to analyze. I have taught critical race theory since 2016. I've also taught political theory, grounded theory, various theories in mass communications. Nobody had an issue with these theories. It's a way to analyze data. That's what it's for. That's what it's utilized for. It's like saying that calculus and elementary math is the same thing. It is not. My brother, what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, Dr. Richey, I mean, look, I am so glad that you're bringing this horrific story, as horrific as it is, because we've long known that at the national level, the federal level, Donald Trump and whatnot, there's an effort to have a purity test for Republicans. That has seeped down repeatedly to the state and local level. The idea that somehow now Eisenhower Republicans, moderate Republicans in a place like Ohio, like Miss Kohler, like Governor DeWine, like Governor Kasich, there's now a war from the extreme right on them. And time after time, the way the far right is doing this is having these litmus tests. Oh, do you still support that resolution that was passed a few years ago? If you do, you're out. That's crazy. But again, it goes to show how extreme the right is, that it's not enough now to be supporting of new resolutions. Now you have to be denouncing things that were good ideas just a few years ago. The idea that, oh yeah, maybe good ideas can come from both sides. Maybe there's nothing wrong with being a Republican and saying, yeah, America has been a racist country. Well, now, according to people on the far right, there's everything wrong with it, and they're doing everything they can to weed these people out.
Now, here's the reality, and brother, you made some great points, and I echo every single one of them. For those who are still Republicans, you are allowing racists to determine your party. Now, do Republicans have racists in the party? Of course, Democrats got racists in their party too. The issue is, what are you allowing to define your party? You're not even fighting. I mean, she didn't fight them. She didn't go to court. She didn't say, you're gonna have to fire me. She resigned, and in her resignation, she still gave complimentary language to the current governor, who was the one who requested the damn resignation. You all, I'm talking about Republicans, you all are going to have to fight for the soul of your own party if you got one. If one even exists anymore, whatsoever. You are allowing these individuals, these racist, bigoted individuals, to define who you are. And here's what will happen. If you allow this to continue, whatever stereotype about you being a Republican is affixed to you, you deserve it. You know why you deserve it? Because you did nothing, not a damn thing to fight against it. And you allowed this racist rhetoric to continue.